Hi, I'm Peter.
I'm Katmia.
Welcome to the This and That Chat.
So, how much would I get right now if I were to place a bet 50 to 1? What does that mean?
Well, it would mean that for every dollar that you bet, if you win the bet, you would get $50 for it.
Oh, so that's really good. I'm understanding odds now
Yes.
and betting. So, would you be willing to offer me 100 to 1 that you have me unread on your phone right now?
I don't know.
But would you be willing to bet me that?
100 to 1 that I would have you on red right now. The bet that you want is that I have you on red.
Unread. UN. Unread.
Yes.
Yes. That I have messaged you and you have me unread.
Okay. Here's a question, though.
Okay.
If I know what it's about, no, I will take the bet.
You will take the bet.
I will take the bet.
So
I have
in this instance right now, does that mean I have to pay you $100 or just $1?
No, you have to pay me $100.
Really?
Oh no, wait.
Because it's
No, you have to pay me $1.
$1, but if I win, I get $100.
Yeah, but why did you get the 100 to 1 bet?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Do you accept that bet? Those odds? How, like in betting, why are there some players who have 20 to 1? Who put up the $20?
No, it's not about them putting up the $20. That's what's the odds of that outcome. So for you to have 100 to 1 odds is unfair
Okay, why?
because it's exaggerated.
But doesn't that show my level of confidence that I know you have me unread?
No, because you're going to give me $1. If it were the other way around, if I would have said to you, I don't know.
You're confused, right?
I am confused.
Interesting.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
If you were to give me 100 to 1 odds that I have you on red, then that would make sense.
Okay, that's what I'm doing.
So you're giving me. So that means that if I have you on red, I give you $1.
No, $100.
No. No, because you're giving me the odds.
But then who gets the $100?
I do.
But I need to get something if you have me on red.
$1.
And what if you did read me? Then I get 100?
No.
No, I want the one where I get $100.
Well, you don't make that choice.
Well, so then what is a fair bet?
You're the one that's giving me the odds.
I'm saying in the universe, the odds are 100 to 1.
No, you're just making up that number.
Okay. So what is a fair thing for me to say?
On a situation like this?
Yeah.
A straight up bet.
A straight up bet.
Yeah.
$100.
So you're betting me $100.
Yes.
Right?
That's 3 months worth of my allowance.
So we're going to go ahead and
Actually, it's actually more. It's like 4.5 months of my allowance.
We're just going to go ahead and pay the bet out of our own bank account with our own money. So essentially, there's no exchange of money?
No, there is. Because I have a physical $100 in my hand.
Which you can go and get whenever you want.
So it's more for bragging rights.
Okay. So let's bet bragging rights.
Okay.
We've gotten 10 minutes talking about how we're going to...
It's actually only... Is it 4?
4 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Go. I'm saying 1,000%.
Well, then, no, you got to check on your phone.
What do you mean?
Check on your phone if I have you on red.
Okay.
Did you send me a text, like, quietly because the phone is off? No.
Okay.
What was it?
What do you mean? It says you read it.
That's what. Okay, so I win.
You win.
Yes.
All right. So you win bragging rights. Why
No,
did
I
you
win
not
$100.
stop? You said bragging rights. You said bragging rights.
You just blew out my ear. I'm already hard of hearing, and you just made it worse. Like, I have nothing left.
You're lucky that you even have headphones. I still can't hear anything. All right. So what did I text you?
The video of the guy sliding.
What does that mean?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
There was a reason for that.
Because of the sliding into the DMs question?
I'm sliding into your messages.
I choose to be with you. And it's
And you didn't even message me back.
because I was going to tell you the story behind that slide.
You thought it was just a random ass slide that I sent you.
It's not random. It's actually they call it the most.
That's probably why it's a GIF.
Yes,
Because it's famous.
it is. The guy, it looks like
It's very swag.
he's gliding on air. It's like his ass never touched the floor.
And that's 2 times already.
Oh, well.
Family show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a new year.
Okay.
There will be periodic asses and
Oh my gosh.
yeah. Okay.
So
So do
I
we have to
lost.
change our rating?
I lost that, and it's unusual. I think that's probably the first time. Now,
Okay, hold
we've
on.
had
Hold
this
on. Wait.
conversation
No, wait,
about
wait.
you leaving me unread.
Wait. Wait.
Speak.
Okay. Just because the little thing doesn't say that it was red doesn't mean that it wasn't red.
Absolutely not.
Why?
Absolutely not.
If I'm working and I all of a sudden
Do you know what the little red messages tells the other person?
What?
Your
That you read
message
it?
is acknowledged.
Okay.
If I see that it just says delivered, I've no idea, especially since you haven't written back. I've no idea if you've received it. Did you acknowledge it? Are you thinking about it? Am I ever going to get an answer?
There are things that you send me that don't need a response, though. Would you not agree?
If it's me responding to your last thing, yeah, I would agree. But when it says, what's your ETA for you coming home? Or what do you want to have for dinner? Or when can I call you? And that says delivered, then it's unread. Then it hasn't been acknowledged. And I don't know if it's been received.
Because sometimes it hasn't.
Correct.
Okay. And that's okay. Sometimes it's busy.
Except when you message me. And then I don't answer. And then you're like, Missy, ?
It's the same thing that you do, where you send another little reminder, which is okay to do.
I mean, sure, if we're going to talk about okay or not okay.
So it's okay. It's okay for you. I need to tread lightly here. It's my day off, and I don't feel like...
We're having a conversation.
Yeah. On the podcast, it'll be a conversation. As soon as we're off, it may be something else.
No, I swear.
Yes, honey.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought this is where we aired our laundry.
Sometimes.
No, it's not. That's the wrong answer.
Sometimes. Oh, I just realized what the problem is. We flipped our mics.
No, you realized that before we started.
I know. And all I did was adjust the mic, right? But I didn't adjust the volumes. So you keep blowing me up because
interesting.
I speak a more monotone and you're very loud.
That makes a lot of sense.
So if you hear adjustment of the volume, it's no
So
big
this
deal.
text whole thing question has been very interesting to me because I this week we have both been listening to a podcast in which there was conversations of social rules, I guess, or socially acceptable rules. That's not really the word I'm looking for. Unspoken rules in social situations. For example, when you're on an airplane, if you have the middle seat, you get both of the armrests. Stuff like that, right? You don't take off your shoes in a restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I need you to pay attention.
I'm paying attention. I'm just fixing your mic.
Okay. Anyway, those are understood social situation rules. Yeah?
Yes.
But not everybody understands those rules or not everybody cares. I think that there's some people who don't even know that there are rules, right?
I would agree with that.
So then there is there expectation rules, we'll call them that, right? For phone etiquette. For example, who is it acceptable to press decline to send to voicemail to? Anytime. So these are the choices.
Okay.
You never
with this
send
choices.
blank. You never hit decline if blank is calling you, right? Fill in the blank. That could be your most important person. I don't know, right? Or there are instances where anybody who calls you, it's acceptable to press them to, voicemail or, other.
Okay. I would say
And we'll say
you
barring emergencies.
I would say that you are the only one that I would not send to voicemail.
Interesting.
Only you.
That's interesting.
Because I've sent my parents to voicemail. I've sent our kids to voicemail.
Interesting. And I feel like I would not send the kids to voicemail, and I would send you to voicemail.
Well, okay. So I've sent the kids to voicemail if we were in the middle of texting about stuff, and then all of a sudden I get a phone call. I'll send them to voicemail and sending them a text real quick because maybe I'm sometimes in a spot where I can't talk to them. But if it's a random phone call, middle of the day, whatever, I'll pick it up.
Mm-hmm. So in those things,
And I have missed your calls, but
Sure.
I usually try and call you right back.
Sure. I mean, missed calls is missed calls. That's another thing, right? If you miss a call, there's some people, for example, who hate getting phone calls instead of getting messages first. They prefer, hey, are you available to talk? A little text, They don't like getting random phone calls.
Okay, but
Or
is it okay?
Your favorites list. Who's supposed to be on your favorites list?
Okay,
Is
well,
it your favorite people
hold on.
or people you call very often?
No, but okay. So you actually said something to me about the favorites list.
I did. And
How do you get to it?
figured that the way that you view it is that's your most contacted people.
How do you go to the favorite? Okay, there you go.
Your star.
Okay, so I'm looking at my favorites list right now, and I have no idea why there's some people on here.
Because you have to click on add to favorites.
There's a random person on my favorites list. I think I've spoken to this person on the phone once in my entire life.
But you have to go into the info and click favorites.
No, but see, look, I just clicked on their name, and it says add to favorites. But they're already on my favorites.
It's really weird. I'll have to help you later. Maybe there's something wrong with your whole setup. So I have
Oh wait, look, edit button.
you have a ringtone for me
Mm-hmm.
that bypasses your do not disturb.
Correct.
So whether or not you have it, that's an emergency. It'll ring an emergency anytime,
Right.
no matter where you are, right? So to me, that's very, very extreme in the sense that you only do that if you want to be alerted if this person's contacting you at any time, whether it's the most inopportune time, right? So to me, that
And
I
again,
don't have anybody on like that, not even the kids.
you're the only one.
But that's I feel like elevates me to VIP status then, right? But when the messages are unread,
VIP or high maintenance?
see, you're going back to that. Because I feel high maintenance would have been
No.
if I had said, that's
It's-
the setting you need to have me on.
It's not a high maintenance thing. It's just having it on there to just have that available.
But you understand where my confusion comes in with the unread messages. It's
Yes.
like, why would you go through the trouble of having an alarm go off at any time and then
Because-
not respond?
Because on the messages, sometimes, like, you know that I'm on a machine all day long.
Yeah.
It's heavy machinery. So sometimes it's not easy to just stop.
Correct. 1,000%.
So my headphones that I used before used to read the messages out to me.
And I hope that I fix that for you now.
Okay? It used to read the messages out to me for you. Right? It would say, you got a message from so and so, and then do you want to
Reply.
hear it or whatever? The new headphones that I got, as great as they are sound wise, is horrible. I get phone calls, I don't know who's calling me. I get text, I don't know who's texting me.
But I hope I changed that already. So maybe tomorrow you can tell me how that works.
Yes. But it makes it harder for me.
Sure, to have to
because
stop and
it's stopping. I have to turn off the blades, lower the machine, turn off the machine. And then a lot of times, because of where I'm working, I'm in the middle of the street. I get so much wind that then I got to go and find a spot to hide. I look like some idiot stalker hiding in the corner of the bushes, trying to not get wind because the headphones pick up all that noise.
Of course. But I think that for most people, this is not a unique situation to us. I think most people have come across the problem where you have been in the middle of texting someone back and forth live, right? Live texting, I call it, because it's happening in the moment. And then all of a sudden, one party stops responding. And it was a question, and the party just stopped responding. So there is this like big question mark of what happened. You were just texting me, and now there's been silence for an hour. You know, so I'm sure that happens to everybody.
So
Everybody
okay.
has that
So
same
is
issue.
is that the same as when you're on a phone call with someone? And this happened the other day with me, where I said goodbye 47 times.
Oh. And then they're
Right?
still not
And they
ready
just
to
kept
go.
on talking. And I'm like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.
No,
okay.
it's not the same.
How is it not the same?
Because in a phone call you're saying okay, goodbye. In a text, usually I think people are not saying, "Hey, I got to go. I'll text you later."
Okay.
Because then I think if you say text you later, got to go.
But isn't
Right.
that the convenience of having a text where you can kind of stop and then pick it back up later?
Of course, that's not what we're saying here. I'm saying that most people have experienced the frustration of I was just texting someone and then they just went quiet for the rest of the afternoon and I got a text at night. Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, by the
So
way.
here is a reflect in the mirror moment.
Okay.
What if you're the person who just wouldn't shut up and hang up the phone?
Okay.
So like the other person was quickly answering your text because they need to get going. And you just keep on texting. Is that not the same thing?
No, again, no, because
I think so.
no, because I'm going to say everyone can agree universally that with texting, you have a problem with not being able to hear the person's tone of voice, right? You can misconstrue a lot of the stuff that you read because again, you're not having a audible conversation. So there's assumptions on both sides that can happen Whereas, for example, that's a great example that you gave. Let's say you're answering very quickly, just trying to, oh yeah, let me just answer very fast, right? But the person texting you doesn't know that you're in a hurry, that you're answering very fast and you're trying just to like not be rude, let's say, and just answer their text. They think that you're open for a conversation. And so they're just merely telling you their whole life story while you didn't have time for that, you know? But I do think that that's where in a text, you do have the ability to say, hey, I can't text for a little while. I need to jump back on, blah, blah, blah. I'm going back into work, text you later, something like that. And it's a direct cut where if that person continues to be like the person who won't hang up, it's okay. You've excused yourself from the conversation, essentially. And, you know,
Okay.
it's either, I feel like with texting, you can go either something that would normally be considered rude out loud can be very easily forgiven because it's understood, or it can go to the other extreme where people can assume the worst of your response where you said okay and all of a sudden it's like, why did you say okay?
Yeah.
Like that,
I guess.
you know what I'm saying? It's a hit or miss.
I'm
I think.
half and half with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's all right.
But going back to the original question or the original statement about me leaving you on red, I'm not leaving you on red.
I know. So that's the part that you've explained to me is that you're reading me off of
My preview screen.
your preview screen. Your preview screen. So there is that question, I guess, of socially acceptable phone etiquette, let's say. I don't even know. There's so many rules in society now that I don't even know what that means.
There's rules for the rules.
But do you think that it's still okay if you read someone on preview, right? You did read what they said. If a whole day goes by and tomorrow they still show the little blue bubble like you never read them?
No.
Why not?
Because
you read it.
Well, hold on.
It didn't require an answer.
Who.
Of course,
it depends on
that's
who.
exactly how I think. It
so,
depends on who.
So if you were to text me, and I know, listen, I know that I sometimes do this. So when you sent, it's Sunday, it's my day off.
Wait.
No, hold on.
Are we not having a good conversation?
Yes, but I'm got to tread lightly.
I don't like that you say that.
No. I just, the thing is, okay, so.
I'm really trying to understand.
Yes. So we've had this conversation about how you text. So you'll send 15 questions, right? And you've gotten a lot better at doing what I've asked you to do for those texts, where you put it all together in one text, and that's very helpful for me.
But it's not for me.
Right.
Because you don't read the entire thing.
But I do.
No, because then afterwards I will say, what about this? And you'll be like, oh, I missed that. That's exactly why I send 15 messages.
But no, I miss them when you separate them. When you put it all in one text, I don't.
Which, you know, what I've been doing is I've been numbering things.
Yes.
That way you can send yes, yes, no, I don't know.
Right.
And that's very helpful.
And that's worked.
But sometimes
stuff
doesn't work out in a numbering way.
Because sometimes I answer them out of order. Mm-hmm. But you will send me a text with like 4 questions on it, and then one random one that was in there asking me another question.
Isn't that how I talk, though?
I know. But I go back and I look at the questions and I answer the questions real quick. Mm-hmm. And that's how I missed the one random question that was like 5 texts before.
Oh, and also a second reason why I do that is so your phone will buzz a lot.
Do you know that I sometimes want to take my phone and throw it under the machine?
I have had that moment where I'm receiving a message like that and I'm trying to see a video or read something and it's just like bing, bing, bing. Because I have a couple sisters who will do stuff like that.
And here's the thing. it's not just you who's texting me or calling me
Yes,
all day.
that's the other part, is that
My
your phone doesn't
phone does
stop.
not stop. I have to charge my phone twice a day. I start off the morning. By the time 7 o'clock rolls around, my phone is going off.
That's why when you come home, you just put it on Do Not Disturb and don't touch it anymore.
I've been pretty good about that.
You just put it down and you
I
don't
have
touch
my
your
moments
phone
where
anymore.
I still have to deal with stuff, but I've got my cutoff in pretty good shape now.
I think so.
So, but yeah, there's times where it's just like my phone is just go, 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 go all day long, and I don't want it to go.
So, to put a nice big bow on this whole topic,
Wait,
right?
did we finish?
Sure. I mean, it was just really a random conversation.
But did we start anything and not finish it? Because that was something. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
We were doing.
To me, I feel like it is, right?
Okay.
I think. But I don't know if we've left anything.
I'm just saying anything that we started.
Well, this is what I'm continuing the conversation in a different way.
Okay.
Because to me, to put a whole bow on this is a problem that a lot of people have with texting, right? Specifically, whether it's the misunderstanding in what you said in your text, or not liking your tone, or assuming that you meant that sarcastically when you didn't, whatever, right? There's a whole bunch of issues that have come up with texting now. So, are we better off as people that we have the ability to text, or was it a more peaceful life where before you had to make a phone call because there was no way to communicate to anyone via text? Do the pros outweigh the cons, really, is the question.
So I'm going to answer this with a video that I saw.
Okay, we're back to the videos.
Yes. Okay. So there is a video of a movie or a show, and I'm not sure what show or movie it is. I guess it really doesn't matter. But it's like Victorian age.
Is it a movie?
I guess it's not Victorian age. So, like when would it have been, like right at the beginning of when electricity was being introduced into houses?
The Edison age?
You making that up now? Anyways, so right at the beginning of when electricity was being introduced, so they're just walking down the street, and there's a guy who is selling a washing machine, and people are like, "What is that?" And he's like, "It's a washing machine. You put the soap in here, it makes this thing spin. It agitates the clothes, which takes off the grime, and blah blah blah, and all this kind of stuff." And the ladies were like, "Wow, that's incredible," right? And then the one lady says to the guy, "And what does that clean?" And he goes, "No, that's a refrigerator. This keeps your food frozen, and this keeps the other food at 38 degrees." Right? So he's explaining this, right? And the guy who's in the group with them says, "And what are we supposed to do with all this extra time?" And they're like, "Well, you can be productive somewhere else, doing other chores." And he's like, "And when you make machines to take care of those chores, what are we supposed to do?" He's like, "I don't know, lounge around, go see a movie, go," like he was explaining that there's all this other stuff that you're going to have time to do. And the guy says, "No, we'll actually just fill our time with more things because we have more time to do. And at the end, we're going to look back and have nothing done." I was like, I know it's a movie and it's all part of the plot and stuff, and it's all a written script, but it's true. I think personally that cell phones, and because we were around before cell phones were what they are now, and I can look back and say I think we're worse off with phones.
Yeah.
the way that
So
they
you
are.
think that the cons outweigh the pros by a landslide?
No, that's the bad part.
Okay. So, but that's really the bottom line.
I think that the pros outweigh the cons, but the cons
Are
take
significant.
a heavy toll.
Yeah, they are. But that's the interesting part is I don't I think we're way too.
Was it with you that we had that conversation about how to make food it was like an all day ordeal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We were talking about that YouTube channel that I watch
Oh yeah, where everything is
that she was
done
trying to recreate
as
it that way.
yeah.
And the thing is that for a lot of people, for example, when we were watching Fiddler on the Roof, one of the characters there was very excited because he got an electric sewing machine. And what was that going to mean for him? That was going to mean that he would have more inventory, more orders that he could take, more money to feed his family.
It wasn't
Because,
electric. It was pedal.
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, a pedal sewing machine. That's right. It was a pedal sewing machine, which was just faster for him than hand sewing, right? So, in that regard, it helped him tremendously, this invention, this advancement. But it's with anything. Too much of a good thing becomes a bad thing. And I think that there was a point in the age of, I think you're talking about the industrial age, because that's when a lot of these things came out, the phonogram and the phone and all of those things, right? There was just an explosion of inventions and contraptions and stuff. So there was a time where a lot of this stuff was extremely beneficial to people. And, a refrigerator represented the opportunity to not only store things for a longer period of time, but also people who were not going to get sick from eating spoiled meat. Like there was a big contribution. But it got to a point where these inventions and everything were too much.
Mm-hmm.
And now, yeah, we should have more time with all the machines that are doing stuff for us, but your employer expects you to do more because you have
You have
more
more.
things to help you with that more.
Right. I think that with anything, there's always going to be a lot of pros and a lot of cons, and sometimes the closed mindedness or the tunnel vision to the pros make you forget about the cons. So this will be an unpopular opinion, okay? But Tesla, like, did they start something that eventually I think is going to be a pretty positive thing? Yes. But there are so many issues with electric cars right now that it's scary that there are so many companies that are now making electric cars. Because if you look at it, I was just looking at this because Acura announced yesterday that they are coming out with their electric car. So Acura's in there, Honda has hybrids, Cadillac has full EV cars, Ford, Dodge, Chevy, most of these guys, they all have all these electric cars. But they're not self-sustaining. They have to be charged. And a lot of them are being charged in these superchargers and all this other kind of stuff that you find all over the place. And what people don't realize is that when you take it one step back from that, how are they getting that electricity? There are places that, yeah, they do get it nuclear, or they get it wind, or they get it solar, or they get it whatever. But there's a lot of those places that the carbon footprint is actually worse because that's how they're making this electricity to charge these cars. So you're not paying it in emissions for gas, but you're making it for emissions to make the energy. So everyone's like, oh, it's so great, we've got electric cars. And then they're actually just doing the same thing. It's just being concentrated in a different place, right? And then everyone's all crazy about the electric cars. And look what happened on Christmas. there was an what's the word I'm looking for?
Unprecedented?
No, it's uncommon. It doesn't happen.
Oh, okay. Rare?
It's a rare situation where there was like down South Florida, southern states had this extended freeze for 3 days, and there were these batteries
Outages.
that were not charging. They weren't holding charge. So people were like 6 hours sitting in their Teslas to get them charged on the corner because they couldn't get from point A to point B, And I'm sure that there's issues that are going to come out when people don't, until they happen. But that's one of those things. There's a really good base, but it hasn't I don't think it's outweighed the cons yet.
Yeah.
But in people's eyes, the pros are a lot more.
Right. Yeah.
So we have a hybrid. Our truck is gas electric hybrid, but it's a self-sustaining system. So it
Doesn't require charging.
It recharges with the engine, and it's been great for us.
Yeah. But I don't know. I guess just to bring it all together, right? It's one of those things where we have created new problems for ourselves and thus new reasons for couples to argue, right? I'm just thinking, for example, nowadays, a wife can say, "Who is that texting you?" Let's go back. I don't know. Let's go back really far. 80 years ago, that would never have been a thing.
No.
If you were seeing someone, it was going to be face to face. Someone was going to snitch on you. Exactly. There was no texting. There was none of this. So you've created new problems, new solutions as well. But we are a very inventive race. And we will always find a way to create more chaos for ourselves, I think.
And we're very in the middle of it. But there are countries that don't have the advancement.
They've chosen to forego it.
That's what I'm saying.
And so in that sense, yes, you've chosen to forego the advancement of technology, but you are also then only facing the issues that all of us had before that advancement came and took over our lives. Right? They are making do. We made do at one point.
You're either getting screwed one way or the other. There's the con is there. It's just different.
I don't know if it was for me. If it was for me, I do feel like there's a lot of things that I look at that if I could have a choice, I would go back and say, I wish that this had never been invented.
Like what?
I don't see the need for a cell phone. You have a rotary phone at home, you can still call whoever you need. You need to talk to your family? You can talk to your family.
I think you underestimate how much you use your phone.
But I'm saying, can I make do without it? Sure. You need something done?
Yeah,
I'll do it when I get home to my computer, which is the only place where I can access that, or a library or something. We made do. An emergency happens, someone has to call you and tell you that an emergency happened.
I would say that not the cell phone. The extent of the cell phone. Because there's so much that you're doing on your cell phone that I think it really does take over.
Correct, but you wouldn't have to do all those things if there was no cell phone.
What if it was a little flip phone?
But if you
Like,
didn't have a cell phone, no one could tell you, I need you to respond to that email right away. I can't.
right, but
I'm not home.
But I'm saying not with the with the capability. Excuse me.
Well, remember, no one would have had the cell phone. They would have never been invented.
Right, but I'm talking about like 1999 cell phone, like
No,
flip.
even before that.
No, I'm talking about if it would have stayed there, where it was a flip phone. I remember. Oh my goodness! I just remembered something. Do you remember that I got picked
Yeah.
for to
I'm
test
actually
out?
surprised that we said yes to that.
I know.
Because now when I think about all the invasive things with people listening in and all your information, everything, like we sent that phone back and we've no idea what they did with any of that. What were they
Nothing.
testing out?
The
Their
internet.
microphones?
No, the internet. It was. I had. Okay, so going back. So I had the opportunity to have one of the first smartphones. And I was a guinea pig. It had the internet.
Do you remember what it was called?
Absolutely not.
Wow. I don't even know how to search
And
that
I
online.
remember that. I don't know why we got picked for that or where we got picked for that.
Well, I know we were living in Bentry when that happened.
And I got picked and I had internet access on my phone. And it was like so foreign. Like
And
really
very
weird.
basic phone.
It was super, super basic.
Yeah.
Like the screen was like yellowish. It wasn't even
Yeah.
like it's nothing
It's,
like
it's not like they spent a lot of on the outside. It was more
it
the
looked.
inside.
It looked like a Game Boy. That phone, like one of the really old Game Boys. Anyways, I remember like the internet was very, very basic when that, but there was a lot of different things that I was able to kind of ease into. And I remember at the end of that, I think we had it for like 2 years. At the end of that, I was like, yeah, they need to improve on this.
Didn't you have to give them some kind of review every so often about?
Yeah, every 3 months I had to sign in, and like it literally would read the phone. So it just was getting all my data. So no
Yeah.
matter what I was doing,
Yeah. Yeah.
who I called, where I searched, what I did.
I think, for us, I remember it just being something that it was one thing that we didn't have to pay for.
Yeah.
And
It
it
was
was
nice.
like, wow, yay, we have a free cell phone. I really would love to know what the name of that company was. I'm sure that they've probably sold and gone to somebody else, but who was doing that and what were they doing? All the things that we think about now that we didn't think about then.
Yeah.
So, wow. I had a whole other subject ready in my mind to talk about, and I did not
good
realize that we spent 43 minutes talking about cell phones and all the problems. I wonder, generally, how many people would agree that we can make do. Would we want to make do is a whole other question, because I know a lot of people are very married to their phones and the convenience of it and all that stuff, right? But there have been situations that I have been in that I've said, what good is my phone right now? For example, when it's urgent that you need to find something, and your phone decides at that minute that it's just going to give you a black screen. You can't open me. You have someone's attacking you. You can't call 911. Would I be able to call 911 without a cell phone? No. Either way.
They're not going to get there fast enough.
But either way, with or without it, when it decides not to work, it's like having nothing. So, either way.
And my favorite, when you're watching something, it all of a sudden freezes, it's loading, you're in a bad zone, whatever. But don't let the ad jump in, because the ad will play 100% all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
It will not glitch.
And see, that's another thing. It's just, I don't know. I have this mental image of a completely unattached person walking through life. and being approached by different vendors saying, here, I have something to sell you that is going to be great. And you're like, that would be great. Here, handcuff. It's just one handcuff. It's fine. I'm completely free on my whole other body. And then when you look at yourself now, we have willingly chained ourselves to different things. And we not only have chained ourselves, we rely on these things. I've seen it firsthand what happens when one system in the hospital decides to crash. It can shut down all of your operations. And you are depending on all of these things to keep everything in order. So an electric car, yay, you don't have to need gas, right? But if you can't get charged, you can't go anywhere.
And right now, you can't even make a full trip to Orlando in one charge.
It's a lot. I think that a lot of it is also our inventiveness is ahead of our resources where they are and what's available.
I disagree.
Really?
I disagree.
Because I don't feel like we have the infrastructure to have everybody in an electric car.
I think they're holding back.
Who's holding back?
Everyone. They've got to release things slowly. Are you going to tell me that for the last 15 years that the iPhone has been out and about, that they don't have better stuff?
You mean iPhone specifically?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would say no, because we already know that their competitors do have better stuff out, and yet they don't jump on that train.
Because
so either they know that their customer isn't going to leave them, and so I can make you grovel at my feet.
Well, it's cultish. You're either Apple or Android.
And that's the thing. They have differentiated themselves so immensely that you try to switch from one to the other, and it feels like you're speaking a different language.
Well,
I know several people.
You got your tablet for school, and how long did it take you to learn your tablet? And then I used it for a couple things at work for a project, and I'm like calling you. I'm like, I'm lost. What do I do?
And that's because I'm just using it for something super basic. If it was for anything that was more complicated, I was saying I know people who have made the switch from Apple to the competitor, and they're right back switching over because it's just too hard.
Well, my guys use Android. There's a couple of them that have Apple, but most of them use the Android, and they have to change their phones every 6 to 8 months because it just completely gets bogged down. It becomes a brick.
I mean, I don't know if this is all right to say this, but I wonder why it's getting bogged down. What's on their phone that's bogging them down? I have a classmate who used to work at a big cell phone company before, and she said that people would buy the phone and then they would ask right there, how do I access porn? Can you put it on there for me? And it was part of her job to find the site and show them how to do this. So to me, I was shocked when she said this story.
I'm sure.
I was shocked because
that's the computer.
That's very blatant.
But that's their computer. They don't have a computer at home.
Exactly. So immediately when she said that, I was thinking, my goodness, you're just out there saying, I don't know. I used to think that was a private thing that you wouldn't just advertise.
People don't care.
I know. I just didn't realize that.
People will put it out there without any...
there's no filter.
There's no filter.
No.
There's no worry about...
She cannot even tell.
There's no condemnation.
I guess. I guess. I mean, I don't know. That, I guess, to me, I feel like I think about the most random things, and yet there are other things that I would have never thought that was a thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But yeah, it's just whoever
Well,
the
to
big
be fair,
monies are behind all of this, they know that they've got us hooked. They know.
to be fair, the one thing that Apple does do very well
They're
is
viruses.
their viruses,
Hmm.
and I think that that's what the biggest problem with the Androids are. That's why they get bogged down. That's why they become bricks, because whatever they're getting into, wherever they're going.
Well, and then that's their big selling point is we may not be, with the latest and greatest, but you can buy our phone and know that you're not going to get a virus.
And yet, a phone nowadays costs $1,000 something dollars.
How are phones? Yeah, and your television costs 275 inches.
Yeah,
Crazy, huh?
but
It just shows you where the
yep.
yeah, right?
But that's why we got caught up in switching our phones every year because the new one, the new one, the new one, and we went 3.5 years without switching, and the only reason that we switched was because they had a crazy deal. I think it was like $400 for each
No,
of
and
the
our
phones.
phones were also.
Yeah, but we were holding off.
Oh
On
yeah,
our
we were
phones
holding
for a
off.
long time.
And I have to say that I don't like the switch that we made.
I don't either.
Camera's great, which to me the cameras are a very big deal.
But yeah,
But I don't know
too
why.
many issues.
No, and the main issue being the speakerphone. That was not an issue in the other phone
And
that
it's
we
the
had.
number one issue on the phone when you look it
Really,
up.
you looked this up? Really?
Yep.
Because we had the XR.
Yep.
I think right before we
And you
switched
can
to
put
this
it on
one.
speaker and speak from across the room, and you
And it
could
was
hear.
fine. And now,
now
you cannot,
You can't.
which is so weird.
I'm getting a cramp in the bottom of my foot.
Ooh, those are the best. They're so painful too.
Your sarcasm is so wonderful.
No, I'm just thinking about where are the places that people get cramps in. You get cramps in the bottom of your feet. You get
Calves.
Charlie horse. You get that cramp in your rib where it hurts to even breathe. And that's it. What else cramps up?
Well, for
Nothing.
women, different cramps.
No, but I'm saying just like a general population random cramp. It's really in your legs, really, where that happens mostly.
Yep.
Because even the rib one is just rare. Some people may never have even experienced that.
Well, we'll end with this story, a cramp story.
A cramp story?
Yeah. All right. So I was in my junior year playing baseball.
It's so weird. It started with phones and ended with cramps.
Yeah, it's the way
That's the title of the episode. Go ahead.
I forgot my story. Oh, yeah. So I'm playing. We're playing against our rivals.
And what sport is this?
Baseball.
Okay.
And we're playing against our rivals. And we had a game that was rained out the previous week. So we just ended up doing a doubleheader where we played 2 games together, to be able to catch up. The other game was like in the 3rd inning.
That's what a doubleheader is?
Mm-hmm.
The same team plays 2 games?
In the same day. Like one back to back.
I thought a doubleheader was just 2 games happening in one day on TV.
Well, it could be.
Oh, it could also be.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So we finished the other game from the 3rd inning on with the score that it was and everything the way that it was. Right? And in the first game, I was just playing regular first base the way I played. And the second game, I was pitching. But the first game went the full 9 innings, which in high school baseball is not normal. It usually goes only 7. But we were tied and just kept on going. So we went 9 innings. And then I had to warm down, warm back up, ready to go for the second game. And in the second game, like 4th inning or 5th inning, I started feeling like my legs were tensing up because there's a push off. You got to push off the mound to pitch. And I get a cramp mid-throw.
On your leg.
On my leg. On my push leg, like the back leg.
And you fell forward.
I fell on the floor.
You did.
Flat out.
You
on
did.
the floor. And I grab my
so
leg.
the push, like I'm trying to envision this. So you do like a little turn.
You lift your leg up, right? So so in my case I'm right-handed.
Yeah.
So my left leg goes up in the air. My right leg stays on the rubber of the mound.
Right.
And I push forward, and my left leg is the one that's going to sit on the ground so that I could pitch, right?
Right.
But in that angle, before my left leg hits the ground, I get a cramp. So I've lost complete balance. Ball goes flying, God knows where.
Were you already like throwing?
I was in the middle of my throw.
So
So my arm is back behind my head. I'm coming forward to throw it to home plate. I'm on the floor, right?
Wait. It's still moving forward. When did you fall? It's coming forward?
In the middle of that. So I just fall on the floor. I don't remember where the ball went. The ball went somewhere. I fall on the floor. I'm grabbing my leg, right? Coaches come running out like, what happened? Did he just like tear something and fell on the floor? And they're like, what happened? What happened?
Was it high? Because you're pointing like back.
On the back of my hamstring.
Yeah.
And I'm on the floor and I'm holding it. And I'm like, I remember screaming, cramp. Right? Cramp. All right? It was all of a sudden, out of the blue.
Oh, no.
Okay? And so what do the coaches do? They grab your leg, right? They pull your toes towards your shin, to give you the stretch, and they're stretching out this cramp. And I'm just holding on there, and I must have said cramp a few times, because all of a sudden my entire team starts shouting, cramp, cramp. And for the rest of the season, anytime I pitched, that's what I heard being chanted throughout the...
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was funny. Even the other team joined in on the cramp chants.
Dang. Is that normal for that to happen?
People are brutal, yes.
No. for players to get cramps like in the middle of you're running.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
You saw that a lot.
Yeah, the cramp was so bad, the angle that I was in, my ankle was back up like behind my butt. Because it had just tightened up so bad.
And you should be warm, no?
Yeah, but it was just the strain of playing. I played a full game, and then I went out to pitch. So
so it was overworked.
Yeah. So the other team, their pitcher
was fresh.
Didn't play the first game.
Oh, so why did they do that? Didn't they have a backup pitcher for you?
Because I was in a small school. So in a small school, you play.
You had to keep playing the rest of that game?
Yeah, I got stretched out and I finished pitching.
Oh, my God.
I think I finished that inning and then I got switched back out to first base.
Oh, wow.
Just to give me a rest.
Wow.
But, yeah, I was jelly after that.
That would have been so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Anyways. And then on top of that, like my nickname in baseball was Zuma. So
it's a Zuma cramp.
Yeah, partly because my coach could not say my last name right. So it became Zuma. But it's still out for debate whether it's because I was really slow running the bases or it was, so he goes like Zuma. So I don't know if it was that or if it was because of my last name.
Wow.
Either way. But yeah, so it just, all the fun stuff. Anyways, so New Year, back on the podcast, out here talking.
Yeah, next episode we can more catch up what's happened and all that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of
conversation was not supposed to take.
No, but it ended up being an hour.
Wow.
So if you're still here, we'll be back next week. So join us and we'll talk about other stuff. And this was fun. Nice to come back.
Ciao.
Goodbye now.